seen something Tony Yayo said, Hov don't look out for me like 50 look out for him.
Oh, word? He said that?
I just want to clear that up. Hov don't have to.
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
I'm chewing aloud on my own.
Right.
If Hov look out, I'm telling you, I'll be up there.
Right.
So when y'all see me out here, that's the Blizzle budget. But back to you, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I just want to let niggas know Hov don't have to.
It quickly became wild when Jim Jones lost his temper and attacked Tony Yayo during Memphis Bleek's own podcast. The fact that Bleek doesn't even rock with Yayo in that way only made it more bizarre. Everyone is therefore perplexed. What's actually going on here? What causes the conflict between Tony Yayo and Memphis Bleek? And what specifically caused Jim Jones to lose it like that? Within seconds, the entire environment changed from calm to tumultuous. Memphis Bleek should come first, since his role makes more sense. From the beginning, Bleek has been Jay-Z's right hand, like a younger brother who was raised in Rockefeller. Pure loyalty is the foundation of that relationship. There is no doubt about that. But for years, Tony Yayo has been making deft jabs at Hov.
Like I just said, we just came back off tour.
Yeah.
You know, with Fifth, and we still touring. Still. And I do my own tours too for people. Oh, yo.
You see,
I do my own tours. I did tours in Canada. I did a tour across the whole Germany and the Swiss Alps. And that's why I don't care about the hate. Cause I'm like, I got the possibility to do my own tour. Like something with Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek said to Nori, Yayo said Jay-Z didn't have us on tour like he did, or I eat my own halal. I eat my own halal too, if you want to say that. To Memphis Bleek, I just came off my last tour. All I'm saying is when you see Jay-Z in a setting, he never really, when he's doing a Beyonce show or whatever, you don't see Memphis Bleek on the stage and him being brought out. You know, even if I'm doing the hype man shit with 50, he's bringing me out. I'm making money. I'm going to—
That's that man girl too. That's it. That's Hov's wife tour.
Yeah, that's Hov wife tour.
So if Hov, I believe if Hov was out on his own, he would bring Bleek out. There is no need for him to bring Bleek in a situation where it looked like if this was last tour you're talking about with the Cowboy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, because I look at Bleek as a loyal guy, like I'm a loyal guy to Jay. But I look at like Fifth, my guy Hervé, one day we had TRL, and it's the Young Gunners there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking them out, and Hervé says loud, "You don't gotta worry about nothing. You got 50. Jay-Z doesn't do nothing for these guys like 50 does." And Hervé, I think he worked with them too. But he said that to me, and I always stuck in my head.
Don't let that smoke go out. He once asserted that Jay-Z attempted to prevent 50 Cent from appearing during the halftime show of the Super Bowl, and he was obviously stuck with the rumor. Yayo therefore brought that same excitement to Shannon Sharpe's act when he sat down. He branded Jay-Z a hater outright, claiming that he never elevates or helps anyone shine. "Look at Memphis Bleek," he said, taking it a step further and aiming directly at Bleek. "He's not sparkling, he's losing. Don't treat Jay-Z like he's 50. Look after me." It was like dropping a match in a petrol station when that cue struck. Jim Jones refused to accept it. He took off as soon as he heard the comparison. He found it humiliating to listen to grown men quarrel over which boss is more affectionate. You could sense the pride and ego clashing live on TV, as if the industry's streets were merging in front of everyone. Man, everything descended into anarchy. Furthermore, it's crazy to argue over who has a greater sugar daddy. That's not how real ones move. Remember this if you're living off someone else's plate.
The difference between me and other niggas, right? Stack Bundles, one of my favorite rappers in the world.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Right?
Ryan Squad.
Rest in peace.
Far Rock. Yep. You understand? Jim Jones, he had Stack Bundles, he had Max B. I looked at it like, great. You know. Stack Bundles, we had a Porsche, was still in the hood. No disrespect to Jim Jones. Fifth had me in Battery Park. I could walk out that barefoot.
Get the socks.
See, that's when a nigga love you, nigga. Get the socks, nigga. Sneakers Dior, nigga. But I'm walking out there barefoot. That's when you know a nigga love you, boy. Because he making sure you don't get your shit split. Because you go back to 134, anywhere, Baisley, right, Brooklyn, shit get split. Once I got shit, nigga shot my shit up. Bentleys and all that. Y'all can get that sneaker, just toss that over there. My shit's official. You know what I'm saying? Yo, look, but nigga put me in position. Rest in peace of Stack, but Stack got killed in the project with a Porsche.
Yeah.
Nigga, come on, nigga, I'm from the hood, nigga. How niggas thought, nigga? I done been around the Black Justice and seen the Preems and all that, nigga. The E-Money bags, all that, nigga. The younger niggas under that.
So with everything you saw,
Maserati Fox. Real nigga, huh?
with everything that you saw, what would you change?
I just pray to God every time I leave the house.
But what would you change?
Change what?
That's a cup.
I heard you talk about all the shit you went through, all the shit niggas is still going through.
What God, listen, what God got planned for you is planned for you, brother. God already knows what's planned for you in life.
God planned for you to come here and spaz on y'all niggas tonight.
I spaz?
I'm just saying, it was a plan.
I mean, I do be on some Hollywood shit in Europe. I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Something like, yo, stop talking about Europe. Hey. I don't, like, when you come here, you gotta deal with
Don't treat
niggas.
Vlad like that, bro. See how niggas is? See how
No, I
niggas
ain't
is,
nothing
bro?
with Vlad.
He ain't treat Vlad
Do
like
with Europe.
this. He ain't
I
treat
do
Vlad
things
like
you have to
this,
do with
my
Europe.
nigga.
If your partner helps you, that's great, that's love. However, boasting about it like a medal is a weird flex. When he stops serving, your entire table gets hungry. Jay does more for me, or you take care of me more. And that's just plain embarrassing. Real men deal with their own hardships. Regardless of how you interpret it, Yayo's entire demeanor during that interview seemed strange, as if he was making an excessive effort to portray Jay-Z as egotistical, claiming that he never assists anyone and just looks out for himself.
The problem is, when she was on the show, she had said that she had heard about you wasn't giving Stack money, but people don't know that when Stack asked you for the bread, you were going to the bank. I think the bank was closed. Something happened, because me and Bino talked about it. I remember being there, and you was going to give him
more money after the money he spent because we was on tour. He like, geez, I spent all that tour money, geez, on Pop, I bug it. Whatever he did, brought another Porsche, BMW. He like, yo, Pop, geez, you said closed mouth don't get fed, geez, I'm Pop, geez, I'm hurting.
It's a fact.
And when I told him, I said, yo, go get 25 grand from the bank tomorrow. He like, oh, yo, what's up with that Wrangler truck? I'm like, I left that shit in Brooklyn. I don't even want that shit. I don't even know what block it's on. Matter of fact, it's by the car shop where I got the Maserati from. He like, you let me get that, geez. I'm like, go take it. You probably got to get a new key. He like, oh, I'm going to go get that tomorrow, geez. You different, geez. And we all know the rest of the story.
Why do you think that people have this misconception of what happened? Why do you think even her? Why do you think that? Where did that come from?
Nobody likes to hear the truth.
Because we were there. Bino get mad all the time, and he gets offended. And he was one of the people that called me. He was like, "That's not true." They think that what they think is that Stack asked you, that he told you he wanted to leave. They said that Stack told you he wanted to leave, he wanted to move, and you didn't move him out. But that's not true.
You want to hear that story? All right, for Stacks, I was about to buy Stacks, the kid Max and Melly a whole brownstone in New Jersey. None of them wanted to leave the hood. And I was not about to waste my money. And I was what I offered them. I went shopping for this and all that type of shit.
Yeah, we remember that, right, Bass? We remember that. Shout out to Bass. I remember the conversation.
And I'm like, yo, you bugging. You want to, like, yo, you could go to the hood every day, but you're going to be living in Jersey. Like, you're going to be living better than, like, and you don't have to worry about paying for no rent or nothing like that. I'm just trying to get you out the hood. Melly, too. Melly ended up getting shot, right? Like none of these would listen, and everything that happened that can happen in the hood end up happening and shit like that. You know what I mean? But everything to try to protect them for what I know could have happened to them, I tried. You heard? From getting all them cars to getting all these everything. You can imagine everything. Private jets, Miami, hundreds of thousands in one weekend, 2 tour buses at Atlanta. Like, cannot front on how I had my boys moving. And I'm only talking about this because you was there, and you and Stacks were best friends. Bino, couple others and like that. Other than I don't even talk to people about Stacks and what went on, but we was setting it out. It was not on our level when we was moving, and no way.
However, the tone of his voice gave the impression that he was vying for the most attention. And it's a crazy hill to climb. That sounded more like a live mic jealousy contest than a genuine conversation. You could tell Memphis Bleek was gonna address it when he slid over to Drink Champs. Without putting things straight, he couldn't just let that story go on. Bleek made it apparent that he and Yayo were not engaged in a serious conflict. They had previously met and even shared rooms while working on industry and musical projects. However, following Yayo's remarks, something undoubtedly changed. The atmosphere became strange.
A lot of, we from the hood, so people look at Bleak and don't understand the business he's doing. They always look at Jay like, oh,
Yeah. That's why you got like Yayo talking about, Jay don't take care of. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
You'll smoke hard coke,
Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 send you an ounce or something,
You do need that
might
help.
need
That's
2
why-
ounces, nigga.
That's why
Paid
you
in full
looking to
movie,
see.
nigga. I got a G for every bump in your face, nigga. I promise you that, nigga.
That's
I
a
promise
fact.
you that, nigga.
That's why he worried about
Peon, you broke, nigga. You know
See?
I got it, nigga. What's
Don't-
up? The
ain't
bag
nobody-
is up. The bone side.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Flea, where the bone side, Flea?
Let me finish that off. Ain't nobody taking care of over here, B. Yo, nah, you good, my nigga. I fucking love it. They deserve it. They need to hear this shit, man, because they bugging out here. All these niggas worrying about who taking care of who. We take care of we. Ain't no
100%,
who
nigga.
take care of who, nigga. You know who doing it. We live.
Us,
We getting money.
nigga. We take
You
care
feel
of
me?
everybody, nigga. We take care of each other, nigga.
That's a
heard?
fact, my G. But linking back up with you, Jim, we missed out on a
Nah,
lot
this
of
is dope.
opportunity, bro. But we ain't gonna miss it out going forward.
Nah,
we need to
man.
put some pain together.
There are rumors that Jim failed to step up when Stack most needed him, and for that reason, the tragedy hurt even more. Stack died in the neighborhood where he was raised. Hip-hop culture is still deeply scarred by the injury. The anguish is palpable each time his name is mentioned. This is where things become trickier, though. Stack stayed on the block at all times. The tale then becomes murky at that point. It's one of those tragic circumstances when it's difficult to tell what is true and what is a rumor. Jim, according to some, separated himself. Others claim that despite his best efforts, he was unable to remove Stack from the streets. To be honest, I've always made an effort to be understanding of Jim because nobody truly knows what transpired between them outside of those walls. Sometimes your people simply won't take your hand, no matter how hard you try. Even if you give them the entire playbook, demonstrate every action, and even attempt to purchase the setup, they will still refuse to move forward. When you want someone to succeed more than they do for themselves, it can be difficult. And maybe that's the real tale between Jim and Stack. Two brothers who live on very distinct frequencies, yet are pursuing the same goal. That's precisely how Jim Jones and Stack Bundles' conversation sounded, like unresolved matters that never found true resolution. Online fans began attacking Jim harshly, claiming that he copied Stack's whole style, including his swag, flow, and even his attire and demeanor. Jim was charged with stealing Stack's whole wardrobe and abandoning him in the trenches. The most outrageous aspect was that Stack Bundles was that man. He most likely would have been in the first row at Paris Fashion Week, right next to A$AP Rocky, iced out, unconcerned, and taking center stage if his life hadn't ended so abruptly. His influence was that great. Stack was more than simply a rapper. He inspired a whole generation before his time and was a full-fledged trendsetter. However, the controversy became much more vile at that point. Jim was accused of critics of stealing Stack's sauce, leveling up with his shine, and then disappearing. It turned into one of those never-ending arguments about who actually made whom, and that debate is still prevalent in society today. However, Jim never wavered in his account. He repeated it repeatedly. He attempted to drag Stack out of the hood. He provided him with funds, took him on tours, and opened doors that might have made all the difference. Meanwhile, Jim claims that Stack simply didn't want to leave the streets, and that was the main thing that crushed his heart. Jim stated unequivocally that he never left Stack. He simply couldn't make him leave the world he was familiar with. Regardless of whether people agree with him or not, Jim stands by that reality. And you could actually see it during that tearful interview. The anguish in his eyes and the sense of shame in his voice suggest that he's still dealing with the fallout from what transpired. Jim became upset. As soon as the name of Stack Bundle was mentioned, you could sense it. He began yelling at anyone who brought it up. It was clear that the wound had not even slightly healed. Even though Tony Yayo hadn't yet shared his perspective, it was clear why Jim was losing his temper at that point. To him, Stack was more than simply another artist. Family was that. So it struck a deep chord when someone like Yayo mentioned Stack's name. No one truly knows the whole truth, whether it was the $25,000 story, the GWA rumors, or anything else. But there is no denying that Jim feels a deep connection to Stack Bundles. Jim interpreted Yayo's eventual remarks as outright disdain, and everything blew up once he sat down with Memphis Bleek and Yayo's name was mentioned. Jim wasn't holding back at all, despite Bleek's best efforts to remain composed and act as a mediator. Jim let off like a man with a point to prove the moment Yayo's name was mentioned. He was really explicit about it. He's not going hungry. There is no famine among his people. Furthermore, the entire dispute about who has a greater sugar daddy is completely baseless. Jim wasn't going to allow anyone to even consider challenging his work or tampering with his name. Then he changed the tone, began to flex heavily, and talked about his entire enterprise, his lifestyle, his cars, and his bag. He wanted everyone to know that he was out. And it also began to sound increasingly competitive as he was leaving. Like Jim was stacking up his wins next to Yayo's circumstances just to remind everyone who's really on top. Here's the crazy twist though. Tony Yayo wasn't even attempting to treat Jim with that kind of disdain. He didn't claim Jim was impoverished. Not once. He really said Jim's good and gave him kudos.
Do the other thing. Everything. Y'all niggas go across the street that way, I'm going up. Holla at your boy. I do other things, man. I don't do what y'all niggas do. I don't do what niggas do. I don't watch niggas' money. I don't care. I just do what I do.
Y'all was actually referring to Jim's circle in his argument. He was pointing out that Jim seems to shine brighter than those around him. Jim's up, but his crew doesn't look on. They don't look up, Yayo essentially stated. To be honest, things may have turned out quite differently if Jim had taken that step forward and actually listened rather than reacted. That was the viewpoint of Yayo. Regardless of how clumsily he delivered it, Jim was not listening. He felt an immediate surge of Harlem pride as soon as he heard that tone. It was evident in his eyes. He wasn't going to allow anyone to make him appear weak in front of the world, especially Yayo. Jim gave a forceful clapback, stating, "Isn't anyone feeding me? I started from scratch when building this." There was pure fire in that cue. He wanted everyone to understand that he had never subsisted on the food of another guy. No one's, not even Jay-Z's or the 50s. That's what makes him famous in Harlem, being proud, self-made, and unrepentant about it. However, that's precisely where the tension started. Once public perception, legacy, and ego begin to blend, it won't be long before words become something much more significant. Jim didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down. He wasn't in the way again, not for a moment. Then everything really took off. Jim retaliated by accusing Tony Yayo of having too much affection for 50 Cent. Because he was constantly hiding under his boss's shadow, he called him out. It was more than a simple retort. The entire room froze when it was struck directly. The energy in the room abruptly changed when that one struck like a low blow. The boisterous back and forth that began quickly escalated into tension. You could sense that Memphis Bleek was trying to intervene and defuse the situation, but Jim had already left. There was no going back now that emotions had taken over. It was immediately apparent that this was no longer just about Yayo. This was the simultaneous explosion of years of pressure, pride, and pent-up annoyance. You don't care for your people, according to all the web rumors, side chats, and comparisons. At last, it reached a breaking point. Jim had had enough. He made sure everyone knew he wasn't going to back down since he was tired of being portrayed as the villain. Not from Yayo or anybody else. Jim continued to boast about his wealth, his hard work, and the amount of money he had acquired from nothing. However, it was no longer even about the money at that point. Tony Yayo wasn't giving up either. Therefore, the true conflict was one of respect. He decided to respond in a way that took everyone by surprise, standing tall on his words and 10 toes down on his viewpoint. Instead of shouting or giving a full interview response, Yayo went digital, directly to Instagram, and his move is brutal. He posted a single, silent, daring play that expressed everything without using any words. No disc, lengthy commentary, or hashtags. He reposted none other than Jim's longtime nemesis, Max B. Without once raising his voice, he made a subtle, icy, and precisely timed chess move that rocked the audience. The internet took off. The fans went completely insane. Hot captures, flicks, and crazy screenshots abound in timelines. The entire situation caused a rift in the midst of the internet. After all the criticism that had been directed at him, some people were standing up for Jim, arguing that he had every right to defend himself and preserve his legacy. Others remarked, Yayo simply revealed the uncomfortable reality.
the kind of reality that would make even the most resilient people wince. In any case, this became one of the most heated online discussions of the week. Round 2, Harlem versus G-Unit. With everyone taking sides, sharing old videos, and comparing receipts, the comment sections are still ablaze. Everything now boils down to a single query. Which side do you support? Tony Yayo or Jim Jones' team? Post your opinions in the comments section. Let's start this discussion. Remember to click the like, subscribe, and share buttons.